Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Sunday services at Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. We are a loving and prospering community in the heart of Denver and online. We now conduct hybrid services, continuing our transmissions online weekly, as well as meeting in person on the first and third Sunday of each month at the historic Grant Avenue Community Center and Sacred Place, located at 216 South Grant Street, Denver, Colorado. All are welcomed here. A place, space, and face of love. We are a spiritual community practicing universal principles that enrich our lives. We are grateful that you have blessed us with your presence. While online, we'd love to know you're watching with us. Feel free to leave a comment and let everyone appreciate you. With everything going on, life can feel overwhelming. CSL Denver wants you to know we are here for you. Please know that our practitioners are available for personal prayer work. Our licensed spiritual practitioners' names and phone numbers are available on our website at csldenver.org. Or if you have a prayer request, feel free to email it to info@csldenver.org. For your convenience, you'll find clickable links in the description of this broadcast. Rev Zia, along with all our guest speakers, practitioners, service coordinators, and musical inspirations, want you to know how truly grateful we are that you are with us today. Thank you for your continued support and participation in our services, workshops, and events, as well as providing financial contributions to our center. If you're interested in upcoming events and information, we send out weekly newsletters. Sign up by visiting www.csldenver.org. Presently, on the first and third Sundays of every month, we deliver services in a hybrid format where we meet in person at 216 South Grant Street. We will also continue to live stream all services on Facebook and YouTube every Sunday. Find us on our respective channels as well as on New Thought Media Network. At the conclusion of our service, we welcome you to connect in fellowship. Join us in person on the appropriate Sundays or on Zoom every week. If this will be your first time joining us online, please send an email to info@csldenver.org with fellowship in the subject line. We'll reply with the Zoom link. Again, thank you for your precious attention. Now prepare for engaging enlightenment.
God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this
Surely the presence of God is in this place. Good morning. I'm Tim Hancock, practitioner here at Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. And I invite you to close your eyes for an invocation. As we know, the presence of God is in this place and in all places, for its creation is in, through, and out every single living cell, whether it be in nature, whether it be in our homes, wherever it is, the presence of God is. And as we move into the flow of the presence of God, we move into a divine energy that is there for us, for all of us. And as we move into today's service, we know we are truly blessed with the divine energy of Reverend Millie's message, with the technology support of Diego, and with the spiritual support of Reverend Elzia and our beloved practitioner, Alice. Just as we are blessed with my words from my reading and from this prayer. For we know that all is God and all is blessed. And we simply move into the relaxation of the divine, knowing that we are taken care of. And so it is. And today's reading comes from one of Ernest Holmes' lectures. As we recognize that our consciousness is the creative element in our lives, totally connected with an infinite source of good, we realize that our experience of prosperity comes from within us. Many people talk about the law of attraction, but attraction means we believe that our good is out there, and we need to attract it to here. But this is as commonly erroneous as thinking that the sun goes around the earth. The real law is the law of radiation. What we radiate or express out then becomes our experience in life. If I have a dysfunctional belief about wealth, that is what radiates out, and that is what is reflected back to me. If I am not living in true prosperity, which Raymond Charles Barker describes as the ability to do what you want at the instant you want to do it, then I need to consciously connect with my infinite self. This enacts the divine nature itself, which encounters no restrictions as it creates what it chooses to create when it chooses to create it. We are all here to enact the divine nature in human form. And so it is. And now we move to the music of Gary Lynn Floyd in a song called Unbound.
Good morning, CSL Denver. Gary Lynn Floyd here with you. I hope you've had a great week. This is a song I wrote a while back. It's called Unbound. Open your mind and unfold your heart. Relax your senses and feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Breathe every breath. Yeah. Release your cringe. Love without waiting, without waiting. Slowly unhinge. You ain't got Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. You can stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. It's already who we are. So lift up your voice. Lift it up now, now, and let it be heard. Let it be heard. And tell me your story. Tell it to me. And don't leave out a word. Not a word, no. 'Cause I think I have been there too. I'm a seeker just like you. And you ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Lay it all down, down, down. Lay it all down. Unbound. Open your mind and unfold your heart. Yeah.
Thank you, Gary, for that beautiful song. And Tim, thank you so much for that prayer. There's nothing like a good prayer in the morning. With that being said, I'm Reverend Millie, and thank you so much for having me here at CSL Denver to speak today. Before we get started, I would just want to say it's such a beautiful morning here in Colorado. And with this beauty comes allergies because it's fall, right? So if it looks like I'm getting tearful or anything like that, it's not because I'm overcome with the message today. It's because I have allergies. So there, let me get that out of the way. And let's start our talk today. First of all, our theme for this month is Everyday Wonder of Prosperity. And so my talk title today is Let It Flow. How appropriate it is for us to just think about that and just how can we be more mindful to just let our lives flow, to receive our prosperity and our abundance, but just releasing and just letting it flow. So we've had many philosophers, teachers speak of abundance in so many ways. And first, I just want to start off with something by our own Reverend Dr. Ernest Holmes. He says that we live in an abundant universe that is always conspiring for our good. And this is in the Science of Mind text on page 50. He says, here and now, we are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. How much of this infinite good is ours? All of it. And how much of it may we have to use? As much as we can embody. That is such a gift. It's like being handed a huge amount of money and said, you can spend as much as you want. And I'll tell you, I could give that money a challenge. And in the book, so it's not only in our teachings in the Science of Mind where we talk about abundance, even in the scriptures, it mentions abundance. And in the book of Malachi, which is in the Old Testament, it says that the Lord says, when we give tithes to the storehouse, the Lord of hosts will pour you out and bless you, and there will not be enough room to receive it. So there's a theme here that's developing, right? And our own teacher of teachers, Emma Curtis Hopkins, tells us, all truth is waiting for you to say plainly what is your good. The speaking out continuously what we have felt and thought intuitively is the first movement toward demonstration, towards manifestation, and towards satisfaction. So we live in an abundant universe that is always aspiring for our good. Yet many times we only allow a small trickle into our lives. What is so difficult for us to accept about our good? We have all of this flow. We have all of this abundance. We have these opportunities to just live our lives and then to live it more abundantly, knowing that the universe is conspiring for our good. Yet, sometimes we only allow a trickle in. It's like stepping on the garden hose while you're watering. That impedes the flow. But we are here to let it flow. But let's look at some of the things that can block our flow. How can we do that? How do we block our flow? And then how do we get off of the garden hose that we're stepping on and impeding that flow? As we recognize that our consciousness is the creative element in our lives, things can change. So just think about that. Change your consciousness, change your life, change the things that are happening in your life. As Ernest Holmes says, change your thoughts, change your life. So what happens before we recognize that there is good always? How do we block this? One of the ways is fear. I like the acronym about fear. One of them, there are many, but one of them is false evidence appearing real. And another one is forget everything and run. And so how many of us do that? How many of us, say, you know what, I can't do that and just drop it. Or this is too much for me and don't do it. We just turn around and run away from our good. Fear can cause us to abandon our dreams. And we cover it with words like, that's never going to work. I can't. Another way that we block our good, that we impede the flow, is unforgiveness. And I thought this was kind of odd when I first heard this, but I was listening to a talk one day from Edwene Gaines. And Edwene Gaines, she wrote the book, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, which a lot of us are familiar with. And I tell you, I can just read this book over and over again and get something out of it. But one thing that Edwene does is she devotes the 3rd spiritual law to forgiveness. And she says that harboring a grudge completely blocks our ability to have a peace of mind. This causes negativity to dwell in our bodies. And to get rid of those negative feelings, we need to have an emotional house cleaning, she calls it. It helps us make room for the good that we desire. So it makes sense when you consider that if you are unforgiving or if you are holding grudges, you are impeding the flow of what Spirit has for you. Or any good that can come to you, you're blocking it because your thoughts are not on good things at this time if you're holding a grudge. The master teacher said that we must forgive 70 times 7 or more because we're not hurting the people that we're not forgiving. We're hurting ourselves. Now, forgiveness does that not mean Then when you forgive these people, you still have to deal with them on the same level that you were. It means to stop thinking about them with that charge that you used to have, with that anger that you hold against them. Forgive them. Let them go. The only thing that unforgiveness does is like feeding another person poison. Feeding another person poison, and you sit back and you wait for them to die. But what it's actually doing is killing you. It's like you're eating the poison yourselves. So we're not hurting anyone, but not resolving our grudges against them. It's just not worth it. Just let it go. That impedes the flow. And another thing that impedes our flow, that blocks our flow, is dysfunctional beliefs about wealth. This is a big one. And if you have any, I'm sure that most of us have heard this saying, money is the root of all evil. And no matter what religious background you may have had growing up or you have now, this is something that is often heard, money is the root of all evil, or it's easier for a camel to get through an eye of a needle than a rich man into heaven. So I really grew up with those things. Money is the root of all evil, yet I wanted it, right? But it seemed like if I had it, or if I got too much of it, somehow that made me evil. It's such a dysfunctional way of thinking. And yet, that was one of the things that I grew up with. Raymond Charles Barker says, I grew up wanting to be rich, but it was evil. Such conflict that prevents us from enacting our divine nature in human form. And that is what this does. And so we impede our flow by our thoughts, our fears, and how we do not expect our good just because of previous things that we've heard. I want to tell you a little story about a woman who wanted a house, who lives in Denver, in the Denver area. Now, whether you might live here, you might not, depending on where you're listening from. But Denver has very expensive real estate. And so it just seemed to this woman that, I do want a house. I want to own one here in Denver. This rent is so expensive, but to try to acquire that house just seemed like a mountain to climb. And so she was thinking, well, how am I going to buy a house? I'm not going to bid, because that's what it would take. I would need to have something that this is the price and this is what I can buy it for. But it just seemed insurmountable, as she had a friend that bid $50,000 over the asking price of a house just to get it. And this is what's going on, I guess, not just in Denver, but in many places where where there's real estate for sale. People want to get it. So there's this bidding war. So this lady thought, I can't afford to bid. I'm not going to be able to buy something. So unless I can get something that I don't have to bid for and Spirit just hands it to me and I know that it's mine and that I'm blessed with it, then I'll just continue to rent. Lo and behold, there was a realtor that had wanted to work with her that said, hey, you know what? There's a house that came up and the owner doesn't want to go through bidding or anything like that. This owner just wants to sell the house. They're not looking to be greedy. They just want to sell the house and then move on with their lives because they were moving out of the Denver area. And lo and behold, the house fit all of this person's needs. And they bought the house for just the price of the house. It was a gift that came looking for her. That person is me. I didn't see this coming. I did not see how this could happen. And this was my prayer to God. This house is something I don't have to bid for, because what I can afford is what I can afford. And I know that is a gift. It is a gift when this happens. Yet I had this fear of that not happening. How can this happen when people are getting $50,000, $60,000 more than what a house costs just to get it? And yet, here I am today on the other side of those fears, dysfunctional thinking, and that impediment of flow. Here I am today, blessed with my own home that Spirit brought to me. So for that, I am absolutely grateful. So when we stay in the flow, when we get in the flow, when we allow it to flow, when we just let it flow, what is it that we do? First, we go within and we can have this conversation with Spirit, with God, with Source, whatever you choose to call it. And when you go into it, this conversation, have faith and know that this power that is within you is something that you can be blessed with always and in all ways. There is a power for good in the universe, and we can have it. We are blessed with it. Emma Curtis Hopkins says that, she says, there's good for me and I ought to have it. And I just love that saying by her, because it sounds so plain and simple, yet it's so powerful. There is good for us and we ought to have it. The universe will not desire through us without providing the means to accomplish that desire. So if you want something, know that you can be blessed with it if you believe it, if you can receive the blessings that is poured out among you, such that you would not be able to believe or to receive. You are absolutely, absolutely worthy of those desires. Be clear, trust in mind, pray and meditate, follow your inner guidance, release the fear, holding grudges and dysfunctional thinking about money. Let consciousness be your guide and keep it clear. Get out of your own way and just know that the universe is working for your good always. Finally, we must practice gratitude. Be grateful for what you have. Be in gratitude for the small things, and Spirit will bless you with bigger things. If you don't own your own home and you don't see a way for it, be grateful for having a roof over your head, a bed to sleep in at night, warmth and comfort. Be grateful for the food that you eat every day, that we have to take the little things that we take for granted. Taking a deep breath. Just be grateful for it. Be grateful for everything. Everything. Grateful for your health. Grateful for just love in your life. Love yourself first. Be grateful for yourself. And just walk in this gratitude. And there's nothing that will be withheld from you. So I'd like to give you one final quote by Dr. Holmes as I close. And that is, we become attracted to something that is greater than our previous experience by first embodying the atmosphere of our desire. Let that sink in. I'm going to repeat it. We become attracted to something that is greater than our previous experience by first embodying the atmosphere of our desire. So embody that atmosphere by things like affirmations every day, um, a vision board, or just jotting down what it is that you want, journal, and just let spirit know that you want to embody your good, the atmosphere of your desire by creating it. And so with that, I would just like to take this time to enter into a brief affirmative prayer as we finish up this time. And just know that you are blessed no matter where you are. Be in the flow. So now a short prayer. And if you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes with me and just take in that deep breath and just know that you are in the flow as long as you just let it flow. There is absolutely no place where God is not. Spirit, source, that divine expression that is us, that God lives and expresses himself through, is right here, right now, blessed. And we are open to receive our good always. And so we receive this, we accept this, we know that good is ours, that the universe is conspiring for our good every day and all days, as long as we release doubt and fear and dysfunctional thinking, we can receive all that Spirit has to offer in so many ways and in all ways. Our flow is not always about money or material things, but it's just about the good in our lives. And that good is everywhere present. Anywhere we can look, anywhere we can see, anything that we can take in is our good. And as we look at this good with gratitude, we know that right here and right now, we are blessed. We allow this flow to happen in our lives. And I know this to be true for each and every one of us. And so with that, I release this prayer into the law. I release it knowing that it is good and it has been accepted and acted upon by that law of mind that just says yes. Yes, yes, yes. And so now release it and let it be. And we can affirm this together by saying, and so it is. Amen. Have a great day.
Thank you, Reverend Millie. Lovely, lovely talk as usual. And now we are grateful and blessed for everyone's support here at CSL Denver, whether it is in your time, treasure, or talent, and especially during this time of change. Whether it's your first time joining us or if you're a returning community participant, we want to thank you for your continued financial support of the important work that we're striving to provide. Right now, there are several ways that you can make your financial contributions to the Center for Spiritual Living. You can see the information which is running along the bottom of the screen. You can text to our phone number, 844-454-0918, or send a check to Post Office Box 300416, Denver 80218, or you can go to csldenver.org and hit the donate button and donate the money. So at this point in time, I would like you to put your hand over your heart, or if you have written a check to mail, please hold it near your heart and repeat with me the affirmation. This perfect gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all that it touches. Freely I give, and joyously I receive. And so it is. All right, now our virtual fellowship is on Zoom this morning, right after the service. And we would love for you to come join us and let us know how you're doing. If you didn't receive the Zoom invitation, send an email to info@csldenver.org. That's info@csldenver.org, and mention fellowship. We'll send you a Zoom invitation right away. Also, if you're like me and needing some good news of the world to offset some of the other stuff going on in the world, New Thought Media Network has a program at Friday, 5 p.m. Mountain Time that is called And Now the Good News. I invite you to check it out and be uplifted. It's on www.ntmedia.org. You can see it on your screen. And don't forget, we are meeting in person next week at 10 a.m. at the historic Grant Avenue Center, 216 South Grant. It's 1 block north of Alameda. There is parking on the south side of the building as well as street parking. And we'd love for you to show up. It's a wonderful experience to meet in person. The energy is just really incredible there. Meanwhile, we hope you have a wonderful week and affirm right here and right now that 2022 is blessed and perfect in all that is. We love you and we miss you. Please take care of yourselves. And now we close out with Michael Gott singing, I Release and I Let Go.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. You gotta let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network.